thought we'd talk a little bit, or I'd share a little bit about the theory to practice kind of focus of this program. You know, one of the myths often perpetuated by some folks, sometimes practitioners, is that kind of what you need to know about being a professional in student affairs is what you learn in practice. And while I agree very much with the learning that can happen in the practice mode, um, becoming a strong professional requires a theoretical approach too. And I would say also that there's a similar myth perpetuated sometimes by faculty that the most important thing you learn is the conceptual material that you learn in class. I would say similarly that's incomplete. Patricia Cross, who's a professor that taught about 2 miles north of us at Illinois State University, is kind of known as saying theory without practice is empty and practice without theory is blind. And I really like that. It's something that we use in this program to try to reorient ourselves or make sure, or kind of a litmus test to make sure that we're still focusing on practice material in the classroom, and the practitioners who supervise or the professionals who supervise our students similarly are asking them questions about theoretical material. So I would say in this college student personnel program, both in the student affairs track and the higher education leadership track, we're going to be using a theory to practice focus. And you know, kind of what that means, or kind of the way that that shows up is, well, it shows up in a number of ways. One of the ways that it shows up is that in our classroom, for example, we'll not just talk, if you did a reading or you did an assignment, a paper the week before, hopefully not the night before, you'll take that material and rather than stay at the abstract conceptual level, we'll ask you to ground it for what that conceptual material means for your practice. So let me give you a specific example. In the student characteristics course that's in both tracks, there's an assessment requirement where students take what they read in Student Success in College, and they'll take some questions and design some questions to go out and do an environmental scan. It could be at Western Illinois or it could be another college. We'll take that information and design questions for focus groups, for looking at documents in the field, for looking at mission statements. And so actually applying the conceptual material for what creates success for various student populations to an assessment, which is very similar to what you would do if you're working in the provost's office or if you're working for the vice president for student services. These are strategies that you'll actually employ once you're in the field. So that's one of the ways that it shows up. Another way it shows up is we'll ask for student stories to come from practice into the classroom. So not only do we have some classes that are more geared toward that kind of activity, but almost any class, a student can bring in a situation that they're struggling with from the admissions counselor standpoint, student activities standpoint, Greek life. Could be an equity issue, a human diversity conflict. Bring that into the classroom, and then we'll ask questions and students will talk with each other about what conceptual material, what theoretical background can we apply to help us kind of work through this case study. It kind of becomes a case study in the classroom. And I would say one of the other ways that theory to practice works in our program is just the relationship that we construct and work on between the academic faculty and the professional staff. Because we want faculty in the classroom who are asking students about how this applies to their practice. And we want professionals in the field asking students about what they're learning in the classroom. And some of that depends on just our ability as professionals and faculty to get along and work together in a very synergistic way. And we aim to do that. We work toward building and maintaining those relationships and working through any problems that might influence a student success. So we're very committed to theory to practice in the college student personnel program. It's been a kind of a touchstone for us, and one of the reasons why I think students have such a good experience when they're here. Thanks.